Good evening. This is Maestro Cretella with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite modcast. Today we have a 2v2 on Ruins of Argus. Our first player today is Commissar Sebastian Yarrick, playing as the Commissar Lord. This is a slightly tanky melee hero. He starts out with a sword and a las pistol, I've been told, rather than an auto pistol. He also has a free energy shield. He can execute his troops, giving them a 100% damage buff, and even has a variety of different execution types or war gears. His teammate is Caeltos, the lead designer of Elite mod. Right here, he is playing as the Plague Champion. The Plague Champion is a Chaos Marine dedicated to the God of Nurgle. He starts out with a Plague Bolter that does some damage over time, and that's the little stink you see over whatever thing he shoots. And he can also get some other weapons, some melee weapons, grenades. He can heal. He can build turrets and also repair. Their opponents, first of all, we've got Maestro Cretella playing as the Warlock. The Warlock is a Eldar combination melee, spellcasting, and support hero. Really can do a lot of different things, and he can be very, very powerful. He's got some nice area of effect spells that he can use against the Imperial Guard. And then, finally, we've got NoisyElmo as an Imperial Fist Apothecary. The Apothecary is a healing commander who can use a heal on tactical marines and really any squad, but works very, very well on squads that are already tough because it really gives them a lot of staying power without bleeding. Alright, so meanwhile back over here, Yarrick has taken cover in the buildings, and I immediately upgraded to the Immolator Blade, which is extremely, extremely powerful against buildings, or units in buildings rather, and I take out a lot of models on that Guardsman squad right there. Ultimately taking out 7 models just with that Immolator Blade. Can be very, very good against Imperial Guard. Certainly, I'd say probably the best choice for weapon warriors for the Warlock against Imperial Guard. Certainly against Guardsmen. And I guess what I feel is the Warlock, there are a lot of times where against Imperial Guard, he'll often just get focused down a lot if you try to have him close in for melee. So what I like to do is get the Immolator Blade, and then the main thing the Warlock is doing is basically just doing that 1-2 punch of casting both Immolate and Destructor, and just using those, and that hits Guardsmen pretty hard, and then they're pretty weakened. Alright, meanwhile over here we've got the Commissar Lord, already upgraded to the Aura of Discipline. Yarrick likes to get this war gear, of course heals his men in an area around the Commissar, and man, I'm trying to capture this point, but Yarrick is really hitting me really hard for it. Probably going to take out at least 1 more Dire Avenger model, and he does. And I really don't know if it was worth it to lose 2, possibly even 3 Dire Avenger models just to get that decap off. Meanwhile, it is a very significant VP lead in favor of Yarrick and Caeltos. Caeltos, meanwhile, he actually has a turret set up right here, and this is something that's often very powerful on this map. Setting a turret in the bottom, basically just in the bottom where the VP is, and that can give you a lot of VP control very early on in the game and give you a significant VP lead, which is exactly what it's doing for the blue team right now. Meanwhile over here, Noisy, it looks like he might just be moving in, trying to go for a generator bash. I don't know if he's going to get it really, though, with the positioning. The turret, the Plague Champion's turret has a very, very wide firing arc. It does not suppress as quickly as the Tech Marine turret, and I don't think it does as much damage, but it has a huge firing arc. Just very, very wide, so it covers a huge area. Even covers the entire VP area, as well as even a bit of the generator area. Alright, meanwhile over here, my Guardian weapon team clearly out of position, so I'm actually just trying to move it toward my Dire Avengers so that they can start focusing the Commissar Lord. I can hopefully keep the Guardian weapon team out on the field, while at the same time scaring this Commissar Lord off, if not even taking him out entirely. And he's actually still being really persistent. I didn't want to have to put the Guardian weapon team in the building, but luckily Yarrick is probably going to lose his Commissar Lord at this point, even setting up the Guardian weapon team to hopefully take some shots, but I think he just died before that even happened. Alright, meanwhile over here, a lot of things going on. Noisy actually managing to get that generator bash off, And he's having his Assault Marines go after the Tech Marine turret. And we see the Tech Marine turret does not suppress it as fast. It also seems to derp a little bit when things get too close to it. Of course, it has a minimum range, so it could not shoot at those Assault Marines. But these Tack's in a little bit of trouble. I actually feel like a Doom Blast from Caeltos probably could have taken out a Tack model. And at least, well, Noisy took out the turret, which is very important. We've already got a 200 VP deficit, however. And I'm just over here bashing this node with 2 units, which is actually not a very good use, I think. But I've got a Ranger, and this is something I've been a little unsure about. I'm actually not entirely sure about what I should build against Imperial Guard, to be honest. I've tried double Shuriken builds, although that can get shut down pretty hard by artillery spotters and then manticores, and it becomes really frustrating. And I don't know, I just wanted something for that. I just wanted a 4th squad, so I ended up getting a Ranger. Although I think I talked to Yarrick at a later date, and he says that it's good against Sentinels, although right now Yarrick doesn't have Sentinels. But Caeltos actually managing to get a full generator bash, and Caeltos also managing to do a lot with a little. He doesn't have as many squads. He's only got 3 squads, and I mean he got his Noise Marines fairly late, but he also managed to bash the whole power farm with it. Meanwhile, I'm coming over here to try to help Noisy a little bit. I feel like he might need some help, so I throw down that Immolate, killing a lot of models on Guardsmen. And the Plague Champion in a little bit of trouble, and he does go down. Meanwhile, over here, however, I did lose some generators in the process, so I did have my Guardian Weapon team trying to set up, and I immediately put down a bunch of generators to try to compensate for that, although I am really swimming in requisition, so maybe not such a bad idea. Noisy trying to return the generator bash right now, and he's got that custom Storm Bolter that the Apothecary now has. It looks really, really cool. Look at that custom Storm Bolter. It looks so cool, actually. Alright, meanwhile over here, Warlock getting really, really close. And, I mean, this Immolator Blade is also actually good enough as just a melee weapon. Look at the way I'm just taking out Guardsman models from it. It does damage over time, and it does about as much damage as the Warlock's other weapons. And here we go with Touch of Nurgle. There is Touch of Nurgle, as Indrid would say. So he is knocking over those heretics with Shotgun Blast. And yeah, he's going to use another Shotgun Blast. So he's really trying to wait out the Touch of Nurgle, as well as killing as many models as he can. So he really dealt with Touch of Nurgle very, very well there. And that Touch of Nurgle, I feel, can be such a powerful global. I call it an engagement winner global just because it can be so powerful. But Noisy dealt with it very, very well, just knocking over the heretics while still doing damage to them. And we actually had a short triple cap. It's not going to last, but we had a short triple cap, and that managed to even out the VPs a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm badly out of position here with all of my forces, and I have to get off the field. And oh, we actually put a generator farm down on top. Although unfortunately Yarrick is really just committing up top, and Yarrick actually really likes to get Flamer Guardsmen. And this is interesting because a lot of people often just say that getting a Flamer Guardsman is a downgrade and you should never ever do it. Yarrick regularly gets Flamer Guardsmen, and he actually really likes it. And I think it's especially good with a triple Guardsman build. Because, of course, the complaint with Flamer Guardsmen, you're giving up potential plasma guns, and even if you didn't plan to get plasma guns, the Flamers have less range than the las guns. So some people really consider it a downgrade. But Yarrick loves to do it because of just how powerful it can be for bashing generators, and especially you can get it very early on, and just how powerful and influential that can be to just get early power bashes with Guardsmen in a way that you really couldn't without getting basically just without getting Flamers. Meanwhile, over here, we've kind of switched. Noisy's now fighting up top. I'm fighting in the middle. I'm actually managing to force Caeltos off a little bit. Yeah, Noisy's actually being very oppressive up top, and he's going for a generator bash over here, and probably going to get a lot of a generator bash. I'm doing pretty well over here myself. Dire Avengers are in cover, but that's actually bad because Flamers actually do, I believe they actually do more damage to units that are in cover, or at the very least, they're not affected by cover modifiers because Flamers are supposed to counter cover. They're mainly thought of as anti-garrison counters, but they will also function as anti-cover. That's just generally not considered as important. I use Immolate on heretics, which is a good thing to do, since the heretics can't just stand around in that fire. They will, of course, just get out of there, but it at least manages to dislodge the heretic worship, even if only temporarily. Ooh, this is actually going to be really, really bad. I don't think I recognized this soon enough. Oh, and that's actually the part that really, really surprised me that I was not expecting. And I think I just might lose this Guardian weapon team right here. And in fact, I do. Very beautifully played by Caeltos. Now, I saw the Blight Grenade, and that was very scary. But what really sealed it was that he also combined that with the Unholy Stench ability from the Plague Champion, which damages and suppresses. And that really sealed the deal there. And that ended up being a very powerful combination. So that was very nice, and he took out my Guardian weapon team. I now have a Wraithlord out on the field, and it has a Shuriken Cannon. I figure I don't see any other vehicles yet, and there's so much infantry out on the field, and I especially feel like when you're dealing with big infantry blobs, and you don't want to put your own infantry against them because you're going to just lose so many models very quickly, it can be nice to get a vehicle with ranged anti-infantry abilities. Just because right now the guardsmen basically can't do anything to this Wraithlord. Ooh, I remember this part. So Caeltos went in with his heretics, and that ended up costing him his heretic squad. I just threw a grenade right at my feet, did not even try to run away, just threw a grenade at those heretics. They weren't even at full strength when they approached. And then both the Warlock with Immolate and the Wraithlord finished that heretic off on retreat. So now we're kind of doubling the bottom. Let's see what I do right here. Am I going to immolate the generators? Right now, actually going mainly for the Warlock, for the Plague Champion first. And the Plague Champion actually gets knocked down a little bit. Meanwhile, actually decide to use the Warp Throw on the heavy weapon team and make sure it's not threatening my... Oh man, look at what happened here. This was the hits. I wish I had caught this, but this was the hits that Noisy took from a Manticore Strike. He got hit really, really hard by a Manticore Strike. Took a lot of model losses, so he just had, well, he would have had to spend a ton in reinforcements, so he used a drop pod. And now we've also got a Chaos Dreadnought, which this is definitely going to threaten my Wraithlord quite a bit, which is actually why I'm running away. I'm going somewhere else with my Wraithlord, because I know that it's not going to be able to stand up to this Tzeentch Dreadnought, which just does a lot of damage, a lot of ranged AV damage. So that's why I'm going for Yarrick over here. Yarrick, because the rest of Yarrick's stuff, for the most part, he doesn't really have AV. He does have his las cannon, though. Noisy choosing, he's saying going to go double rocket, so I think double missile attacks to try to deal with that Tzeentch Dreadnought. Meanwhile, over here, the Commissar Lord is dead. Oh my god, he got... I don't think we had enough guys to deal with him. But the VPs are actually really, really even now after the blue teams took such an early lead. And a big early lead. Meanwhile, more Manticore Strikes going down. Where are they going down, though? Don't even see... Oh, over here on top of my Rangers, and I nearly lose my Rangers, which were just trying to capture this power node, and I retreat them, which is going to leave this power node uncapped for a little bit. Meanwhile, over here, in a little bit of trouble with a las cannon Havoc, a las cannon heavy weapon team rather, trying to deal with my Wraithlord, and I ended up just scaring it off, just using the combination of all those Warlock spells. Now, unfortunately, we've lost all our generators. We have very low power income. We've got +10 because the blue team took our power farm. We lost our other power farms, and I'm about to recapture this one. And I'm just having my Wraithlord kind of shoot at things, doing some nice damage. Got to be really, really careful, though, about this Chaos Dreadnought, which is why I have the Bright Lance over here. It has massive range. Although it might have its line of sight blocked a little bit by this wall. And we even have the Plague Champion repairing the Chaos Dreadnought, which I feel like you don't actually often see the Plague Champion repairing, despite the fact that he can repair. Alright, meanwhile over here we've got the Guardsmen approaching again, but they're just going to have to step away from this Wraith Lord. There's nothing they can do about the Wraith Lord, nothing the Guardsmen themselves. So that's why Yarrick is going to move up his Las Cannon heavy weapon team to hopefully deal with my Wraith Lord. Meanwhile over here my Bright Lance is taking shots. I moved it up a little bit, taking shots at the Chaos Dreadnought, and I tried to go for a decap with my Rangers, lose 2 models because Yarrick decides to attack ground. Unfortunately, my Wraith Lord is now overextended and taking shots from the heavy weapon team. I throw a grenade, it does a lot of damage, but it doesn't knock over the heavy weapon team because it has the energy, because it has it just has the refractor field, and I end up losing my Wraith Lord because of it. I tried to go for an immolate, hoping to take out the heavy weapon team as well, but it gets out of there with 10 health. So unfortunately that was not a win for me at all. I've now got some Warp Spiders out on the field. Noisy, meanwhile, being very aggressive down on the bottom, although Yarrick and Caeltos have managed to take the VP lead again, and my Warlock, I don't know what he was doing, but he is down at this point. But they've got the VP lead again, about a double VP lead. They've got 236 to 121. Manticore Strike's going in again, and it's a very close range Manticore Strike, so they are going to do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, this Commissar Lord getting very overextended, just trying to charge in, but goes down to Warp Spider fire, and I probably was also using the Beam Scorch ability from the Guardian weapon team that does allow me to... That's basically a free Doom-like ability that comes on the Guardian weapon team, and that's one of the great things about about the Bright Lance these days, that you have that Beam Scorch ability, so it's still very useful, even against infantry, even after you take out vehicles. Although, that being said, we still have a vehicle to deal with, so I better not rest too easily. I'm going to throw a Haywire Grenade, then I should need to get those Warp Spiders out of there. So, Bright Lance taking shots, but Caeltos is blocking line of sight, and he has line of sight blocked, so I don't take out the Dreadnought. Meanwhile, Guardsmen getting in a lot of trouble, just taking a lot of damage right here, and I think they're going to go down. Yarrick not reacting soon enough, and he loses a Guardsman squad. Autark called in, jumping on a lot of stuff. And Caeltos, I feel, doing pretty well. Well, he was doing pretty well to keep that Chaos Dreadnought behind the Bright Lance, or behind the wall, to be safe from the Bright Lance, and he actually managed to get out of there with 80 health, unless Noisy has something to say about it. Just one more missile and he takes out the Tzeentch Dreadnought. VP's now pretty evened up, 170 to 121, and we've got the single cap. We're actually about to get the triple cap, unbelievably. And wow, look at how brazen Noisy is being. Unfortunately, one of those Tactical Marines mistargeted, did not go for the Manticore, and I think even if they did, well, this Manticore is level 3. I think it would have taken 3 missile shots instead of 2 at level 1 to be killed. Although I think maybe if he had managed to target with the first, managed to target correctly with both of those first missiles, he might have been able to get a second shot off with one of the tac squads. So unfortunately, that Manticore stays alive. Up here, this is me trying to deal with Yarrick. Warp Spiders are in cover. They are just so brutal. Just teleport Warp Spiders right into cover, and they just absolutely shred things. Just scaring off entire armies, except for the fact that they use summary execution, so they're actually back out on the field. And now my Warp Spiders are actually running out of health. One model goes down. I don't think I teleported them into cover that well, and ooh, that was actually really, really bad and misguided for me, so they did really well, but then that very nice play for Yarrick to use summary execution to keep those Guardsmen out on the field, and he actually ended up doing very well against my Warp Spiders. I didn't quite teleport them perfectly into cover, and I think I really just overextended them when they had already taken the damage from the past engagement. Tactical Marines got to go, and now it's actually a reverse triple cap for Caeltos and Yarrick. And Caeltos using this Blastmaster very, very smartly. He used it to actually just attack those scouts even during the decap. And for the Autark, my fully upgraded Autark, I'm actually going straight for the Blastmaster. because she's not going to be doing that well against the Terminators, especially not now that they're about to get some lightning clouds. Oh no, my Rangers are running right into that. That's really, really bad. Luckily, Caeltos a little slow on his reactions as well. I think he had enough time to wipe my Rangers entirely. Although I don't know what my Rangers are really doing at this point. Autark still going in, doing things and forcing things off. VP lead for the blue team. Again, they've generally had the VP leads in this game, but we've also been doing a lot to at least just stay in the game. Unfortunately, I've lost a dire Avenger squad. Noisy getting a Plasma Cannon Devastator. I actually don't think he's in Tier 3. Caeltos is in Tier 3. Yarrick is not there yet. There's been a lot of power disruption in this game, but overall I'd say the blue team has had the better end of it. We do have a... Here goes another Warp Throw. Yeah, Warp Throw just to hopefully get those Guardsmen off, or to hopefully even Warp Throw them and then throw a grenade for my dire Avengers. He has some Angels of Death, but it's a double cap for Yarrick and Caeltos. Now what I'm doing with my Rangers is I'm sending them around backcapping, and I feel that's probably the best use of their time. It's probably one of the only good things they can do at this point in the game against what we're having to deal with. We got some Immolate with the Autark moving in, doing a lot of damage as well. And I'm going to try to at least get like a cap off right here. Ooh, my Warp Spiders, unfortunately, they're in a lot of trouble right now. Get hit by the Blastmaster. They will also lose straight up to these Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. Oh no, my Autark, what is happening to her? And I'm trying to go for a decap with my Warlock, and I think I'm just barely going to get it, but it's a very close call. I very luckily do not lose my Warlock, and now it's a single cap for us, but we're really, really running out of time. Yarrick, meanwhile, coming back over here to try to stop my Rangers from capturing the point. The Rangers get the cap off, but they lose 2 more models, and that's kind of expensive to reinforce. Meanwhile, Noisy is right here using a grenade. Yes, use a grenade, just like Tarkus says. And he's going to go for force melee. Actually uses the shotgun blast on the artillery spotters, and that scares them off. Unfortunately, these scouts cannot win against the Commissar Lord, really, pretty much no matter what. Especially not with these guardsmen here for support. I was going to say their best chance might be to go into the building, but unfortunately, Noisy loses track of them, and they go down. Meanwhile, we got a lot of things going on right here. I've got the Warlock. I have 500 red, but I'm not in Tier 3, so I cannot use an Eldritch. Meanwhile, I try to use an Immolator. Immolate. It's actually doing very, very well against this Chaos Shrine, and actually takes out the Chaos Shrine. So that is just one of the good things about that ability. And I think I don't know, at best I got a decap off, but was not able to actually get any kind of cap off. And I'm kind of cycling through Eldar ranged units. I got Warp Spiders. Now I've got Dark Reapers. Dark Reapers, I think, do I use the Barrage ability, or have I? No, I haven't upgraded to it yet. I think Plasma Cannon Devastators should be taking a shot at these Guardsmen, and they do in fact, but here comes another Manticore Strike. So Guardsmen on the point again, Noisy trying to attack it with everything he's got, and I can't get my Warlock there in time to deal with them. But there's a Warp Throw to get them off the point. Alright. So I get them off the point, throw down an Immolate, and I'm just chasing with my Warlock because these Guardsmen, they're here, but they're going to start taking too much damage, I think. Hopefully, yeah, I mean, they're certainly going to take damage there. And wow, I send my Rangers in very brazenly, but now they're somehow retreating through fire because of the artillery spotters, and the Commissar Lord is chasing after those Rangers, and he actually takes them out. Just the chase that he had with that las pistol was very, very good. Very, very good for him. Very, very bad for me. Certainly very good for the Commissar Lord. Chaos Predator now out for Caeltos. No upgrade yet. And my Warp Spiders, I think they're kind of in cover because of all these things on the ground, just all these craters. Or actually probably not. Oh no, a rocket run. I think that's going to kill my Warp Spiders and probably kill a lot of stuff. Oh man, yeah, definitely killed my Warp Spider, so I just lost a lot of things. My Warlock is miraculously still alive, and the Apothecary is still alive as well. But a 2-to-1 cap, 44-36. We've got the bottom VPs. Yarrick just staying on top, I guess. Assault Marines go in and actually manage to stop. Oh my god! The Plasma Cannon Devastator getting hit really, really hard, and now we have... It says Tactical Marines, even though those were supposed to be Devastator models, and they just explode. Meanwhile, we've got this Chaos Predator moving in very, very closely again. More things going on. Autark jumps to disrupt, and I'm probably going to have a grenade go into something. Am I? No? I thought I was going to have a grenade go in. We do have some Apothecary advanced healing. Just a lot of things going on, just being aggressive with that Autark, as well as the Warlock, level 6, even without an energy shield or the Merciless Witchblade or whatever. And wow, I mean, we still have the heavy weapon team trying to capture the point. Just so many instances of units trying to get on the point and just not able to finish it, just fighting so much over that point. And again, I said I was cycling through Eldar range units. I had my spiders, now the Reapers, and now the Wraith Guard. The Wraith Guard, and the Wraith Guard probably gonna just take shots, and if the Chaos Space Marines were on that point, they would probably scare them off. Oh, and a Chaos Heretic squad goes down for Caeltos. I don't know what it was doing all the way over here. If anything, it should be trying to go for that VP. But Heretic's down for Caeltos. And here we go with Wraith Guard taking shots and scaring off the Chaos Space Marines again. So just scaring off things that can cap. And now I went for a cap with my Wraith Guard, and in hindsight, I feel I should not have done that. Because they could do a really good job of scaring other units off the point and preventing them from capping. And I feel I should not have actually just let them just try to capture that point. So, we're going to see another Warp Throw as well as some Assault Marines jumping in. Actually does not take them off the point. I throw a grenade, but my retreat, my sense of Warp Throw is not that good. We also have an Orbital Bombardment, and everything's going to end up retreating through that Orbital. Oh my god. So how hard is Yarrick going to get hit there? He gets hit pretty hard, but at the same time, he has not lost any squads. He came very, very close for losing 2 squads. Manticore strike on everything right here. Oh my god, a lot of... I think I straight up lost my Dire Avengers to that Manticore. It's just all happening in the middle right now. And now also, Yarrick and Caeltos actually playing it very, very smart. Managed to decap the top and decap the bottom and cap the top. That Incendiary Shell apparently not good as anti-garrison. So a single cap for the blue team, but they're about to get more, and that's going to be it, I think, in their favor. And disadvantage to actually getting that Warlock leader to the Wraith Guard. They get stunned when he dies. And that's definitely it. And Noisy has got to go. Well, I wiped the Guardsman squad, but they gave their lives for the Emperor. Alright, hope you enjoyed the cast. Have a good night.